Let's get right into it today. First of all, let me welcome you to the podcast, Island Vacation Podcast. First of all, let me ask you the first question. How are you doing today, first of all?
Hey, dude, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on. And I'm doing very well today because in Vancouver, it's sunny. So I think you would appreciate
always appreciate a good day. A good day goes a long way.
Absolutely. It makes such a difference. It really does.
And I mentioned it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Welcome to the Winging It Travel Podcast, your weekly ticket to the world, hosted by me, James Hammond, proudly part of the Voyescape Network. This is more than just a travel podcast. This is a cinematic audio experience to take you along with me on my journeys. Through rich, immersive soundscapes, authentic storytelling, and on-the-ground reaction, I bring you right alongside me where I'm hiking volcanoes, checking out the chaos of a city, or camping under the stars. With over 15 years of travel behind me, I've met incredible people, seen breathtaking places, and collected unforgettable stories, and now get to share them with you. So expect a mix of immersive audio episodes that let you hear the world as I explore it, solo episodes where I give raw, authentic storytelling, tips, and honest travel tales, and guest conversations with some of the most diverse and well-traveled people that I've met. This is a podcast for travelers, dreamers, backpackers, or anyone who thinks, what if I just went for it and traveled the world? So if you're looking for stories to tell, tips to share, and experiences to inspire, then you're in the right place. There is so much travel content coming your way, it might just spark that trip that you've always wanted to take. Winging It is part of the Voyescape Network, and you can check all the podcasts out on the network at voyescape.com. There's so many great hosts, great podcasts, and many, many great travel tips. Honestly, it's one of the best resources out there for travel, and it will inspire you to get out there to see the world. Head to voyescape.com for more great content. So let's dive straight in.
All right, guys. Hello, guys. Didn't just take a vacation, guys. He built an actual lifestyle, right? James is a passionate person who actually travels the world, who has explored multiple continents, embracing long-term travel and immersed cultural experiences, which is very important. We love that. Known for his practical approach to budgeting, planning, and he's built a lifestyle centered around exploration rather than convention. James, I'm just going to start off with a very simple question, which is not that simple because you've been quite a few places. What are 3 of your top countries that you've traveled to? And also what made them stand out?
Okay, I'll start with my recent trip to Bhutan. So Bhutan is a country between India and China. It's in the Himalayas. And it's been on my list for 7 years, I think. And I finally got there. I managed to work with the tourism industry there for my podcast and also a tour group. And I had 11 days there, which is actually quite long because it's quite expensive to go. And honestly, if you think of the Himalayan culture or the Buddhism culture, you might think somewhere like Thailand, Japan, which is great, and they are awesome as well, but are very modernized and very capitalist, I'd say, as well. But now, if you want to go to the opposite of that and go traditional, Bhutan is your place. It is people dressed in traditional dress. They still welcome visitors with open arms. They take you to all the best holy sites, which are clean, and you see like monks just living around you. I got to interview a couple of monks as well, so that was quite interesting to ask some questions. Yeah, just a great country, great culture. So that's definitely amazing. My first one.
And what would be your second country? Because Bhutan, how do you top that?
Yeah, number 2, I actually mentioned it. Number 1 is Japan because it is a magical place. It's the mix of traditional and modern society, and it's a bit crazy. Tense. It is hard to work out how it all works. The Japanese people are super nice, and the culture is up there with some of the best in the world, and super safe as well if you want to travel solo as a backpacker or just a solo traveler. And number 3 is Bolivia. It's a bit of a secret favorite of mine in South America. It's a bit more rustic, and it's got the mix of the Amazon rainforest in the east, the salt flats in the west, and in the middle you've got silver mines, you've got the highest cities, La Paz, Death Road. It's got everything.
That
as
is
a wholesome trip. So those 3 are probably my favorites, I reckon.
I was not expecting Bolivia, and those are the kind of places
different,
I kind of think about lately. Bolivia, Guyana,
yeah, love it.
Suriname. Yes, Belize was my secret from going on the cruise ship. I found it. I was like, oh my God, I'm not telling anyone about there. The gold, the music, everything. But to hear you say Bolivia, wow, that's amazing. Very good. We cannot forget Bhutan. You said Bhutan and also Japan. So that's also some amazing one in a lifetime places to visit, I would say. Yes, one in a lifetime places to visit. What would you say made them, James? And you said Bhutan, Japan, and surprisingly Bolivia. I mean, that's an amazing list. Amazing list. Different list as well. That's why it's amazing. What made each of them unforgettable? And I know you made some brief things about it a while ago.
Yeah, let's start with Bhutan because I remember that the most and it's more recent. I think when I was sitting on top of the hill outside the temple, that this monk is the main guy, right, of this temple.
Yes.
He's actually called a lama as well. He invited me to breakfast, and it's before the tourists arrived. So he got set up for the breakfast outside. It's a nice day, 15, 16 degrees Celsius. It's not too cold. It was 7 a.m. It's pretty early. And he brought all this food out with a cup of tea and some coffee. And we sat together just talking. He can't speak English that well, but the fact we're conversing and talking about Bhutan, Tibetan culture, Buddhism, and he was willing to answer my questions on my podcast through a translator. I thought the view, it was like misty. The view was like pretty cool on top of a hill by a temple. That was just an unreal experience. I think for me, that has to be up there for Bhutan. I think that's so clear in my mind, that experience.
Wow, that's amazing, eh? That's amazing. And what about Japan?
Yeah, Japan, I wanted to go and experience the bullet train.
Okay.
The Shinkansen, as it's called in Japan. So China and Japan have these super fast trains, right? They go like, it's at 400 or 500 kilometers an hour. It's crazy. And they're silent when you step on the train and you are hurtling through the countryside between Tokyo and Osaka, whatever. It's just an unreal experience. And it's all orderly, fairly expensive, but it's well worth the price because you save time, right? Because instead of taking 3 hours, it takes an hour. So we really enjoyed 3 weeks on the trains, just seeing the country and the major cities, and they all got their own charm. We went to the south, to Nagasaki, to Hiroshima to do the atomic bomb stuff, but also just to check out the cities. And then it's just a crazy, crazy country. I think you just have to go and experience it. It's hard to explain, but the culture and the people are great. That's definitely something that I loved alongside the trains. And then for Bolivia, I remember seeing Death Road on Top Gear many, many years ago. This must have been 20 years ago, I think, something like this, right?
Yeah, Top Gear's old. We watched Top Gear for a while. No?
And they drove down Death Road, and you can now get a bike out and bike down it, right?
I remember that episode, yes.
Yes, I think they got quite close to the edge.
Yes.
So that experience of biking down is if you're scared of biking or falling off cliffs, it's probably not your experience. But you know, I'm okay. I'm not a brilliant biker, but I'm not too bad. So I think that whole experience of biking down Death Road, you start really high up, it's all downhill to the bottom. Yeah, just incredible scenes, right? Just incredible experience and scenery.
Man.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing. Funny you mentioned Top Gear. I love me some Top Gear. I watch this over and over. I watch all episodes like it's brand new.
Yeah.
So music, culture, food, the people. What would you say hits the hardest out of it all between the culture, the food, or the people?
A great question. I think it's the people. I think I have to go with the people because you learn so much from them. So in Bhutan, I stayed at a homestay. So when you book Bhutan, they ask you, what do you want to do for 5, 7, 10 days? You get to kind of almost dictate your own itinerary.
Okay.
And one of the things I wanted to do was a homestay. And a homestay is you go and stay with a local family, normally on a farm or somewhere in the countryside. Right. And you get to live with them for a day and a half. And it's like such a cool experience. You get to see how they make food, how to milk the cow. I milked a cow for the first time, had a hot stone bath. I got to make food for dinner and prep food and speak to the local people. So that, for me, makes local people probably the best.
So right, you get to immerse into the culture. So it's all about the people.
Yeah.
And if someone is on the fence, right now about like traveling and stuff, in just a few sentences, why should they travel?
Because what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you book your trip, right? And you're going somewhere that's slightly uncomfortable, maybe out of your comfort zone. Okay, you get on the flight, you're probably nervous, you're worried, and you arrive into the destination. 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to love it and think, why on earth did I not do this sooner? And it's going to make you travel to more places and learn about different cultures and learn about people and countries. Or 2, if you don't like it, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, aren't you? There's some lessons for your own self there to go back to your home country to.
That's right.
And
That's
I
right.
think both of those are pretty decent options for a reason to travel. So give it a go and just get out there and go outside of the comfort zone and see what happens. I think it's pretty cool.
I totally agree. That's real.
Yeah.
That is real right there.
100%.
And I think a lot of people underestimate what travel actually does to your mindset and even opportunities.
Yes, because you meet so many people, right?
Yes,
Connections. Like I travel and I try and meet podcasters or travel creators that I sort of roughly know online and just go for a drink or coffee with them, and you get to meet them in person and meet them in real life, right? And that's a connection throughout the world. So if you travel a lot, there's always someone to help you out in different countries. So I think it's pretty cool.
That's absolutely awesome. That's one of the main things I encourage. That's one of the things we did. Made sure practice while traveling on a cruise ship. We have friends in every country.
Yes.
It's very valuable. Yeah. Very, very, very valuable. Invaluable, in my opinion. So that's awesome. Now, let's get a little bit more tactical. How would you go about planning a 6-month, like a backpack trip to South America? Let's say we're going to Bolivia. How would you go about packing for 6 months?
Packing for a trip? Wow.
Yeah, because people can pack for 2 weeks. 5 or 6.
Yeah. And I'll give you my recent experience. When I went to Bhutan, it wasn't just Bhutan, it was Australia and Thailand, right? So that you might think, oh, what's wrong about that? But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they're both different weathers. So South America is going to be the same. If you're going sort of like their summertime, it's going to be rainy for a start. So their summertime is our winter time, right? So if you go to November to January, something like that, it's going to be warmer weather, but it's going to be rainy. So instantly you've got to think, well, how can I protect myself from the rain but not be too warm? And also, if you go south, it's going to be a bit colder, right? When you get right down to Ushuaia, right down to the south towards those places where you go to the Antarctic. So I think what I do is I write out a list, and you have to be ruthless with this list because you have a limit in terms of how much you can take in terms of weight. So I take one backpack. And unfortunately for me, and I think you might be the same, I like to travel with content stuff. So this is laptop, lights, microphones, headphones. It adds an extra layer. So I'm quite ruthless with my clothing, first of all, and 2 or 3 things of each. And you've got to accept that you're probably going to wear stuff 2 or 3 times before you wash it. That's fine. And then medications is quite a big one. As you get older, you might have more stuff going on. So I take a whole first aid kit, which covers everything from hiking to like cuts or antiseptic wipes to malaria stuff or any vaccination type stuff or whatever it could be, right? Whatever you need. I have Imodium is quite a big one for me as well. Just to cover those unusual circumstances, because more than likely in 6 months, you are going to get ill 1 or 2 times, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
of course.
Cover those bases.
That's right.
And for tech, make sure you get your travel insurance. That's a big one. So it covers all your tech because you never know.
Very important. Yes. Very important. Very, very important.
Yeah. I've been okay. I've not had anything bad go wrong in terms of equipment, but I had some cancelled flights and stuff which have been reimbursed. But I
lost about 3 cameras in one trip in Mexico. Having too much fun. And I didn't have insurance because we just took off the insurance just for like a split something. I don't know. I just kind of like lost track, and that happens. Guys, that is very, very invaluable information. The one time you might think, and I've always had business insurance, we just took it off and it was just 3 cameras went just like that. GoPros. Yes.
That is devastating, isn't it? God.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll tell you the top 3 things I think you should have for a 6-month backpacking trip. It's all personal, but these are the 3 things I would never leave behind. Number 1 is noise cancelling headphones. Buses are noisy, planes are noisy, hostels, if you're saying hostels are noisy, if you need that bit of like space to get away,
privacy,
that's crucial. Yeah. Plugs. I mean, I'm a light sleeper, so I stay in hostels, but I need earplugs to even to get sleep. That's a must.
Yeah.
And number 3 is underrated, is a good quality pair of walking shoes. And they're broken in because I don't know if a lot of your listeners walk a lot. I walk a lot. And if you don't have comfortable shoes, your feet are going to be in bits. Yeah.
Kill your feet. That's that's very valuable. You definitely overlook shoes, comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
Comfortable shoes. Yeah. That's very important.
Do you know what happened last time in South America? I arrived in July, right? So this is the opposite. This is the winter. I had no coat. So I was in Peru. I was in Chile, northern Chile in the desert. And I went to the shop and said, oh yeah, it's a bit cold. He goes, have you got a coat? I was like, wow, I've got like a jacket, a jumper. He goes, No. You need big,
Like a
big
whole.
coat. So I had to spend $70 on a big ski coat because he's like, you're going to freeze to death. And he was absolutely right. So make sure you research the weather and have the right
Research
coat.
well. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And let me ask you, what about like a budget range or your route planning or just even mistakes to avoid? But let's start with like your budget range.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a really hard one to answer. But I remember going to Central America 2 years ago, so quite close to South America. And I was doing I budgeted every day with accommodation, food, transport, everything. I think I worked out to be spending $60 a day all in. And I think that's pretty budget because I'm staying in hostels, I'm staying in really cheap places, but also traveling as cheap as possible. So that's like
Local.
shared buses,
Yeah.
border crossings, not flying, going over land and stuff like that. So I think budget. I think prices are more expensive these days, but $50 to $60 a day per person. You might want to make that 100 if you're a couple, maybe.
Yes.
But I'm a bit more mid-range now. I probably would double it because we are travel creators, right? We can make money through the travel creation part.
Right.
So I think I probably would increase that a little bit more.
Right. But that's some valuable information right there because people would not know how to go about starting it. Guys, backward planning. You heard what he said? Planning from there. So we're not going and then try to figure out how to spend. You budget from there, and this is the range you're trying to stay within. Give some space in between, like you said, because it's just right now we're in a different time, we're in a different era. Different things happen with the economy. You have different wants, different needs. So you have to put all this into play. And what about...
I say the two things that cost the most are going to be your flights and your accommodation.
Yes.
So if you don't want to worry about how much you spend on food because you love your food or you want to do some tours, try and really concentrate on those two. And what I mean by that is you got to fly somewhere. I get that. But maybe do some overland travel to reduce the cost of a flight or do some homestays or couch surfing if you want to stay some free nights, just to try and even that cost out.
Call one of those friends.
One of those friends, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Use your resources. Use your resources to get where you need to get. That's part of it. That's it. Yep. And what about like route planning? When you're planning your routes, like how you're going to be navigating? Like, for instance, the last trip that you just said, that's some serious navigation right there. And that's where travel agents and stuff come into play. But of course, guys, you don't always need a travel agent. You could do it yourself, but you just need to have a plan. Let's say it from a professional.
I use South America as an example because I traveled solo there for 3 months, about 10 years ago now. And the way I planned it was, well, where do buses go? Because buses don't go everywhere. So I had a map on, like a paper map, probably work out a few routes. And I was in Rio de Janeiro. I was like, well, we want to get into Argentina. So where's the first place we can get to? And it's Iguazu Falls, which is on the border between Argentina and Brazil. Amazing waterfalls. It's like, well, okay, from there, there's two options really. You can go south towards Buenos Aires, the capital, or go north to Salta. So it's like, okay, well, which one do we want to do? Well, we want to work our way north a little bit. Well, I want to go a bit more north. So I thought, okay, I'll book a bus to Salta. So it's kind of getting your map out, but also seeing what the available options are for buses or trains if you're somewhere like Japan, whatever, and just seeing how long it takes to get there. Is there anything of interest you want to see? And also pay attention to time. South America is huge. It takes hours and hours on a bus to get anywhere. So just bear in mind that I think Iguazu Falls to Salta is going to take like 14 hours or something ridiculous, right? So just bear that in mind and give yourself enough time in between so you're not traveling every day. You don't want to get into the routine of getting buses every day. You don't see anything. So you need to bear that in mind and try and work out the distances.
Right. That's some very, very, very sound advice. Very sound advice. Yeah. Whether the bus routes or the train routes, that's definitely a hub of something. There's something there. That's why they're stopping there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love that.
It doesn't matter worldwide. No matter where you go, that's how it's going to be.
I had no idea what was in Salta in Argentina. No idea what was there. We went there and there's a mountain and some great steak. So yeah, it turned out to be good.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And what kind of mistakes would you tell people to avoid? Just try to avoid while you're moving around.
Yeah, I've made a few mistakes in my time. I got held up at a border in Laos in Southeast Asia because I didn't have a stamp into the country. And I had a visa, but I somehow missed the window to get the stamp. So I didn't notice until I got to the other end of the border to get out of Laos. And these guys were shouting at me. They took me to an office. One guy had a gun. It's all crazy. had to pay them some money to get them to put a stamp in my passport. So the lesson is just pay attention at border crossings, especially countries that don't speak English that well.
Yes.
And just look for signage or follow people that are basically tourists and just see where they go. It's a genuine mistake. I didn't know where to go. I probably wasn't paying attention. I was probably like pissing about with my mates, maybe. I don't know what I was doing, but it paid at the other end. I had to pay like $70 to get them to make a stamp in my passport and put me on my way. Also, from that story, just respect the border guards, because I got to that border and I got really annoyed at them because I don't know what they're trying to say to me, and also I don't know what I did wrong. And I just went, oh, don't worry about it. And I took my passport and went to Thailand. I thought I can get into Thailand. So when I got to Thailand, the border crossing, he's like, no, you can't come in. There's no stamp in your passport in or out of Laos. You have to go back. I was like, okay. So don't assume you just get through it because, I don't know, whatever reason, right? So I had to go back and be a bit more humble and say sorry and go through that process.
Wow. Yeah, that's even everywhere. Respect Border Patrol, respect TSC, respect the police, respect the soldiers.
Everything.
Just,
I'll tell you another one as well. Another one I saw very quickly. Sorry. Another one I saw very quickly recently in Thailand. They've changed the rules, so you have to get a e-visa thing, right? Like most countries now, you have to get like a
everything's changing.
Online. Yeah. But before, no need. You just turn up with your passport, right? But some people don't pay attention to this. So when I knew this when I arrived to Thailand in December, but some girls in front of me from UK had no idea. And they got turned away and said, well, you need to go online and pay for and do the visa, right? You can't come through. So like, just pay attention, do some research on visa rules, even for tourists in certain countries with your passport.
I say for all countries. I think it's very important to check for all countries, whether it's an island, a continent, no matter where you're going, just always pay attention to the visa rules and the immigration. Like, just double check it. It's always safe. Very, very, very safe. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy that you explained that story concerning Laos where they sent you back. Wow.
Yeah. Rough times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have some stories. I try not to tell anybody about those stories from cruise ships. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I can imagine.
I have all different types of visas. That's all I can tell you.
Can imagine.
Yeah. Yes. But these are very insightful and very useful information that people could use, especially as a backpacker, somebody moving around the world, somebody taking chances. You could avoid all this stuff. And if you could avoid it. Try to avoid it as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Now, let's see. What about like the difference between hidden gems versus like tourist heavy spots? I have a clue. What's your just from the location to choose, it says it all.
Yeah, I think the basic rule is if you're gonna go to a country that's popular, let's say Thailand or Italy, of course people are gonna go to Venice, aren't they?
Right.
And you've got to accept that it's a unique place and there's going to be tourists there, and it's not a hidden gem because everyone goes there all parts of the year. But what can you take from that to make it a bit better experience? Or maybe don't go in the height of summer. Maybe go in shoulder season where it's a bit quieter and stay there instead of doing a day trip, right? I think that's one way you can do very popular places and make it a little bit better for yourself. And hidden gems is an interesting term, isn't it? I don't love the term, but I guess this comes down to research. So you might think, I really want to go to like the Adriatic coast, which most people think, Croatia and Dubrovnik and those islands are very popular and touristy. Well, hang about. Just go further south to Albania, just as good on the same coast. Cheaper, not as crowded and stuff. So like a bit more research. I guess that's the hidden gem part where you can just look out for places that are basically geographically the same, but not got the limelight of certain places, right? So Greece is another example, right? Everyone goes to Santorini and Mykonos. I imagine they're great. There's 600 islands or something. I chose one at random on a map and I was like, I'm going to go there. Went to Carpathos Island. Never heard of it. Don't know what's about.
Where was it again?
Carpathos Island.
I think I've been around that island.
It's between Rhodes and Crete. So Rhodes and Crete are very popular. And there's an island in the middle between those two. Go there. Just as good.
And you're going to learn way more because you're right next to Crete, where the history of Greece started.
Indeed. So you do that bit, but you want a bit more quieter times? Just go get a ferry across the Carpathos. Brilliant.
Yes, away from everybody in Greece that's coming from around the world.
Yeah.
Yes. So like I thought, It's the hidden gems you're looking for.
Yeah, big time.
Yes, that's the whole point of traveling, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point of traveling. Some people
Yeah.
travel because they want to go and see, just to be around and see what they've seen on TV. And there are real travelers that want to go and find certain things, go and find the secret spots, go and see the stuff before everybody else sees it. So that is you.
Just a quick break there in the episode. I just want to say there are many ways to support this podcast. Please give a written review and 5 stars on any podcast app of your choice. This is greatly appreciated and helps the podcast find new listeners. On YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like any video that you watch, and leave a comment with your thoughts. I love to read them and respond to them too. You can help the production costs of this podcast by heading to buymeacoffee.com/winging it. For $5, you can buy me a coffee and help this podcast immensely. And finally, please tell Winging It to your friends and family. Get them to tune in, get some wanderlust on the go, and hopefully they'll come back more if they're inspired to. That's the aim of the podcast, to get more people to travel the world. Let's get back into the episode.
Now, you've chosen travel over a traditional career path. Why, sir?
Why? Yeah, that is a great question. It's a huge question. Let me summarize my feelings. I think for me, I've never been interested in a career in terms of like a skill, maybe, until we do this podcast, right? Until maybe content creation or travel. And that's a new thing. It's like last 3 years.
Last 3 years, yeah.
So I'm trying to give this a go now. But before then, I didn't want to be trapped in a physical location. I found jobs boring. I know you have to do them for money. I get it. And I did try to go to different countries around the world to work. But ultimately, work is the same, right? But I lived in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
And it's the same office thing, right? Had some cool experiences in the vineyards and mines in Australia. But overall, just never really been into it. But what I got fed up with was because every time I did this, I have a job, I quit, I travel. That cycle gets a little bit tiring after a while because the reality of life is you're going to have to work at some point for the rest of your life. So what you're going to do?
Yeah.
So after our year trip in 2023, I came back. It's like, right, I'm going back to a job I don't particularly love, but I've got to do it. But in this time now, what am I going to do in the future that I will like? So I'm on this journey now trying to find out creatively and with the travel stuff, like how can I make that an income going forward?
Okay. That's a very understandable question in my world, because I feel the exact same way about it. Until I met my wife told me this is a lifestyle, this is not a job.
Yeah, great term,
And
lifestyle. Yeah.
I was like, what? But she's a medical person that knows what she's talking about. Her idea of medicine for you is a vacation. Human beings weren't meant to work, dude. You're not crazy.
Yeah. Think so.
We're supposed to explore and dance around the world and go discover like a child, just go in and see all this new stuff, which seems like it just never ends. A lifetime too short to see it. So that's why you feel this way. The problem is we have to work to be able to make this money to be able to go do it, which is not the fair way to do it, but you have to do. They gave me a sentence. You have to do what you don't like to get to do what you want to like. I was like, oh my God, it's sickening, man. It would be dead by the time we figure this out.
I know. That's the worry, isn't it? Yeah.
Nah, I think you're doing it the right way. You just have to keep doing it and find ways to take a break and just go live your life and do whatever your soul tell you and whatever you think. I think that's the right way to do it.
And also put the time in.
Yeah, but put the time in. Yeah, put the time in. It's very important because you have to follow what your soul and what your life's calling is, or else you'll be on the bed waiting and realizing that you didn't do what you need to do. I found that out from coming and travel around the world and then coming to go to school in America. And one of the things I did was I was working in a hospital and I always take time to go see sick people. And then I figured out I could use this accent to just make people laugh. So I just went and cheered them up and they started asking me questions. And I realized they were like, you've already been around the world and all this. I was like, yeah, why you come to school? What you doing? You just want more, want to try and figure. I figured I was having too much fun over there. I was beginning to feel
guilty. Yeah.
But you realize that that's what everybody would love to do. That's what everybody's trying to do. That's what celebrities are trying to do. When I get into production, I realize that's what the rich and famous are doing. They want to be socialites.
Yeah.
That's why they create content so that they could, and you could just you make the money last as much as possible. So I totally get it, man. I totally get it. That one hits home. That one truly hits home. It truly
it's the work towards freedom That's what I think.
It's the
the
work
freedom.
towards freedom, right? Because that's freedom right there. That's freedom.
I think so.
Because even on the cruise ship, it still worked. I made the best out of it. I'll tell you, I made the best out of it. I was like on a non-stop vacation, but I had like 3 jobs and I wasn't even aware. I didn't know what was going on. So I totally get it. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for that. And I hope that hits someone that's trying to figure out what they want to do as well, guys. Everyone's trying to figure it out. Trust me. Everyone is trying to get free. Everyone is trying to set their soul free. Everybody wants to go to their passions. What I'd advise you to do is do what you got to do. If you could do what you want to do for them, you can take 2 hours out of your life to do something for yourself. Go do your hobby. Go draw. Go jump. Go run. Go DJ. Go record something. Go do something. Go crochet. I advise that. Yeah, that one just hit home. Let's go back to it. Yeah, man. So let me ask you also, and I mean, that leads right into this, the financial trade-offs and the freedom versus stability. Because when you live in that kind of life, you kind of live in like, I guess that's what they'll call a hippie. That's how I kind of came on land. Somebody told me I was a nomad. And I actually listened to them. I was like, yeah, right. So your opinion, financial trade-offs, the freedom versus the stability. What's your opinion on all that?
I don't have anything. So let's be honest and be real here. I have spent probably since 2010, I'd say, with the mindset of earning as much as I can for a short period of time and then quitting and use that money to go travel. So let's talk about 16 years later, where I've been to a lot of countries, but I don't own anything that's like assets or anything, right? But the trade-off is I've had an amazing experience the last 15 years traveling all these countries. So you got to have a chat with yourself and think, well, do I really want to have this experience, or do you really want the stability or guess of having a location that you call home, or owning stuff, or even having a business and making money? For me, those things don't interest me greatly, apart from making money in this new phase. But I prioritized experiences and travel. So that's why I think I call it freedom, because when you get to your 30s and 40s, I think you start to realize that time is the ultimate currency. So what can you do to give yourself the most time to do the things that you mentioned earlier, like painting, running, DJing, the things you love? If you're constantly working, doing a job you don't like, then are you really free? Are you really happy? Are you really like satiated and all that sort of stuff? So I'm not sure that's the right path for me to go. So I'm trying to work all this out. But yeah, I think that's where I'm happy with what I've chosen. Yeah.
So I think you're dead correct on it. And I don't think you did the wrong thing. I know I didn't do the wrong thing. I know you're going to get your blessing. You just haven't figured out how to flip it. And you're going to figure it out, because I'm going to tell you how. I'm going behind the curtains. That's what made me start this. The guys in the production actually told me that production is going to steal my life away from me. And I told them, no, I survived cruise ship. I dodged the military. I know how to escape this. And I started taking my podcasts more serious, because I understood that if we're getting paid that kind of money to put that production for these people, why don't I do it for myself? So I came to my house and started buying equipment and started setting up. Lo and behold, Spotify sent me a message, you're monetized. Now, I'm not a competitive person, because I'm not on this planet for money. But I got a family and I got people, we got to do stuff, and we got to buy more memories.
Sure.
Because I found out the most valuable thing is the story. A handful of people have those stories because they're that brave.
Yes.
The most expensive thing are words.
Yeah, agreed.
Sell it. Every country you've been to is a story.
Yeah.
All the conventions they have, they're all about finding stories and listening to inspirational stuff. Public speaking, script writing, book selling. That's how you're going to get paid. Hurry up, go and become a millionaire. Sell your story.
I'm on it. That's the journey I'm on. Yeah.
The guys that you see, the guys that told me that, they didn't know they told the wrong guy this. I told them I'm going to make them get out of the job as well. One of them told me he's been a millionaire 3 times, and he went back to a job because he just blew the money away from making an advertisement. One advertisement he made, and he made a couple of millions of... No, the guys that I work with, they have Grammys and Emmys.
Yeah.
I'm just blessed that I happened to run into them on my journey, and that journey led me to there. And I know, all right, I don't work for anybody. I go back to my dream.
Yeah.
So now that I meet anybody that try to figure that out, I'm telling them exactly what it is.
I appreciate you.
Sell the story. Yeah. That you already have the asset. The people at work, they have no story. They only know one thing.
Have a story,
Home
yeah.
to work, work to home, home to work. They love
Yeah.
watching people like our stories. That's why we have to create. We're creators.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll never fit into a building, man. A building, you can fit into a building, for heaven's sake. You won't like a building.
It's not for me.
Have this thing. A building was created by man. A roof was created by man. They got caves, man. It's not like God keeping us outside. They got caves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I that question is a very interesting question, the financial trade-offs, but don't ever think for no split second that you don't have the asset. You have the most valuable asset, which is the raw material. That's what people buy. That's what people pay for. You just have to be brave to put the story out there.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. That's the difference between the guy that go and study 8 years in school and the kid that just decide, I'm just going to take a mic and just sing. And they get rewarded. If they stick to it long enough,
that's it.
Get rewarded.
Yeah.
Watch me. It's weathering. It's just how things work. If you keep on long enough,
but so many people don't put time and consistency and they sort of give up, which I understand, but you've got to really work at it and just get there. I think you can if you keep going.
Putting time is not necessarily growing or working. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice doesn't make perfect. You could be practicing the wrong thing and you'll never get there.
Yeah.
So it's perfect practice, then it compound interest, and then it blows up. So yeah, that's what I think about it. But that's my opinion. I shouldn't know over to you because somebody told me that. That's how I figured it out. My cousins in England, they have like big degrees and they're very educated and got certain things. And they were like, we're working hard to reach retirement so that we could go travel the world. I was like, what?
How many times do you hear that?
The minute we had that alive. Watch me. The minute we had that conversation, they changed their life. One of them now travels around the world and goes to carnivals.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Watch me. Carnivals we've never even seen around the world. From Japan carnival, like these kind of things came on our radar. And I'm like, now I have to watch her life and they were waiting for retirement. I'm like, when you're going to retirement, how are you going to be able to go do paddling and kayaking? And
you can't.
You can't do anything.
No. It's a ridiculous statement. Yeah.
But
so many people say it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because that's what that's the dream you've sold, and that's what you've told yourself. That's the only way to get out of the freedom. So you look at it as that's the end gate. If I could get there, I'm outside.
Yeah.
Nah, no, you're not.
Crazy.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not. But yeah, very interesting. So you're stable. You have assets. Trust me, you do.
Okay.
All this is intellectual property. When we're long gone, million years from now, somebody might just find this and realize, oh, this guy's got it.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the aim.
They were fighting against the whole world, but they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, James, where are you going to head to next?
I've got Finland and Estonia coming up in August. And then I'm going to French Polynesia in September.
Man, I might have to tag along with you, man. It's time for me to go to French Polynesia. I have a couple of friends out from out Indonesia. Yeah, time to go down to French Polynesia.
Looks a dream.
Friends all in Kiribati Islands and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And there was some amazing people to meet on the cruise ship because they eat the same food we eat. They live the same way we live. And we're like, but we're from the Caribbean. Where y'all from? Somewhere just like y'all. What? How long it take y'all to get here? About 2 weeks. What? Where do y'all come from? We come from a tribe, and they start explaining those amazing worlds down there. So I could tell. I could imagine. Yeah, you can stay one place. So French Polynesia next. And how long would you be staying out there for? Or how long have you planned to stay out there for?
10 days. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just long enough, I think.
And let me ask you this. Just an interesting question, because you were traveling before COVID. And so it's like BC, what's it? ABBC, before Christ, after Christ. So before COVID, after COVID. Oh, sorry about that. I'm hitting the camera. Before, in your opinion, would you say that you found that after COVID, everything kind of reset, or do you find that everything remained the same, or what was your observations of travel after COVID? Has it gotten easier? Has it gotten...
I think it's got more expensive. because the
Yes.
travel companies lost money in COVID, rightly so.
Yes.
No one traveled. So they're really trying to make their money back, but I don't feel like they're reducing the cost back to pre-COVID. So I feel like it's a bit more expensive. And I feel like it's gone a little bit nuts. I think we had a problem before COVID where over-tourism, etc., was a problem. We had this reset in COVID, but now I think people are scared a little bit that it might happen again. So like, okay, we've got to go to all these places, right? So people are trying to get to all the places that we know, like Barcelona, Venice, all the popular places.
Okay.
But they're doing it en masse, and I think that's now causing problems. So you talked about hidden gems earlier. I think that's the way to go. In certain parts of the year, don't go height of season. But yeah, I think it's gotten a little bit crazy since COVID. We traveled in 2023 and we found it, more expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe not as busy in certain countries, but other countries that are popular, that's really, really busy. So I think people are just kind of scared now that the COVID thing will happen again. So they're trying to get out there. But also it's expensive. So it's a weird position because people might not be able to afford it.
Yeah.
And there's a potential crisis coming in terms of the economy and all that sort of stuff, right? So I think interesting times, a real mix.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. One, for sure, everything did get more expensive. I've seen it for the trips I've taken. Yeah, just going St. Lucia alone, the prices, different countries, the very same countries have got more expensive. Yeah. So that does make sense. And when you say like, and I didn't think about that, but that does make a lot of logical sense that people might be anxious or they're still in fear that the world can shut down. Like they never saw that happen and they're kind of like terrified and people were waiting. Some people were really waiting for, yes, I'm gonna save all my money and I'm gonna go travel the world. And now they saw that happen. They were like, the gates open now. We're going everywhere and it's bombarding everything. That does make sense. And it would make everything expensive too, to make things crowded as well. So it kind of reverse the reset.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a very, very interesting perspective. I never thought about it like that, but that does make absolute sense. That
imagine the people in Venice as an example, right? They always had tourists come every part of the year, right? Before COVID, they probably got fed up with it, but they kind of need it for the economy. Okay, COVID comes along, and finally they get to see their city pure again, right? There's no tourists there; it's their own city, and it's like, oh my god, like this is what it looks like in normal times before travel was even a thing.
Yeah.
And now that after COVID, it's come back again. Like I can't imagine they're too happy about it because
fond about it.
They've seen freedom from the travel over tourism stuff in COVID because they're like, oh, we can walk our city again and not be inundated with travel and tourism and people and tourists, right? But now it's back to where it was. So yeah, just an interesting example.
That's interesting example. The France is the same way as well. They could see Eiffel Tower
as well.
Barcelona, all those places. You're absolutely right. That's a very good and very interesting perspective on it because we take it for granted, but when it's your country and you're seeing you have to deal with traffic we're doing it in Florida. To go to Orlando, to go to conventions and stuff, it literally beat me down to make me want to go back to your dream, dude. Go back and because if you could tolerate this, and we saw what it was like in COVID. That's the problem. We saw what everything really is supposed to be like. What 30 minutes to get to Orlando on a regular day is an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. It makes you really start go insane.
Yeah, insane. Yeah.
So that's very, very interesting. James, let's get honest. What are some of your least favorite countries or places that you've been to? And I know we're putting them on the spot. We're not going to elaborate on them too much, but it does also help them get better.
Yep. Okay. I'll be honest. I didn't like Bali in Indonesia. That was not a very good experience for me and my friends who were there. Not like horrendous. It wasn't what I thought it'd be. Completely different to what I had in my mind. That goes back to like over tourism. I thought it'd be like this idyllic paradise, but actually it's pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a place I loved. I actually don't think there's many others. I don't particularly dislike many places, but that's the top one for me. I actually can't think of anyone else. Is that bad?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say that's that one, I think.
That's pretty good. And pretty much it's just the same thing. You're a guy that looks for a certain type of tourism. You want a certain type of place. You like to get hidden gems. So, when you get to Bali and everybody's down in Bali, you're like, oh my God, that's like Dubai and those places. Like, where did everybody come from? So I get it. I get it. I totally get it. So Bali, it's not a shot at you guys. Tourism is good. I guess it works for you guys, but not every traveler, not every tourist likes to go in places that's populated. I'm the very same way. I like private islands. I like places like Palm Island. Not Palm Island in Dubai. No. A little
No.
Palm Island in somewhere in the Grenadines. It's so small. You got to take a small boat to a small plane to a small just to get there. But when you get there, the people are like no other. Like no other.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with traffic. And that just makes a good vacation. You could get some rest and you could get some peace, which is the biggest luxury of them all.
Not half, yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest luxury, please. That's 100%. What brought me to Central Florida. Just want to see cow trees and that kind of stuff. Other than that, I would go to Alaska. Alaska would be my just quiet and just some nature. Goes a long way. Yeah. And what would you say like for even like with Bali, was it like a realistic expectation at all, or you'd say not at all?
I think I had this probably feeling from when I was a kid that it would be like Bali would be like palm trees and no one there and pristine beaches, culture. But actually what is there is it's a real hard partying culture. It's segregated between tourists and locals.
Right.
Quite dirty in some places. And it just was not what I was expecting. It's like the opposite if you go to Cook Islands or even French Polynesia, I'd imagine, coming up. It's the opposite of that if you're thinking of like an island paradise.
Right.
So just didn't hit the paradise definition for me.
So hold on, one more question. Would you give it a second chance?
I actually would, yeah. But I know what I'm expecting this time, so it'd be a different trip.
This time. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yes, yeah, because people like surprises, but an unpleasant surprise is not necessarily something anybody likes. Yeah, especially when it's something you dream about and you go that far and you have such a grandiose expectation. And it's just like, man, I'm seeing all the flaws and behind the curtains. And it's like, nah, I totally get it. Totally get it. But that's good. At least you're a true traveler. You're like, you know what? I'll still give him a second chance. Give him a second chance. That's good. That's good. And other than the other countries that you just told me about, what other places do you have like on your hot list?
Yeah, French Polynesia was number one. I've got on my hot list Colombia. That's definitely somewhere I want to go to. I want to go to Namibia in the southwest of Africa. That'd be pretty cool.
Me too.
Yeah, that looks pretty decent. And Ladakh in India would be pretty intense and pretty good. Like Buddhism culture. I quite like Himalayan Buddhism culture. And China is a big one. I've not been there. So I want to do like a mainland China trip.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a pretty dope list.
Yeah. They're just like 5 of 50, but they're the ones I'm thinking of today. So
that's a pretty dope list. You got one more country you got to put.
Oh, St. Lucia.
I'll give you one reason.
Okay.
We have the only driving volcano in the world.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
When you get out of here, just go and Google St. Lucia. You see what's going on down there. You'll be like, what is he even doing in Florida? What's wrong with him? Yeah. Nice place to go and see, like culture. You see the kind of tourism you like. Granted, St. Lucia is a little more pricey because, of course.
Yeah, but the Caribbean is normally. I've been to like Antigua, Barbados, St. Kitts.
Okay, so we are along
Grenada.
That level. Yeah, no, we are along that level there, like Barbados, Antigua. That's a certain price point right there. Yeah. There, that's good. But then we just have like mountains and certain things more. But that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's it right there. But that's nice, man. That's a very good list you just gave there. From China to French Polynesia to... That's dope. Yeah, that's a pretty dope. What about, have you ever been to Australia?
Yep, used to live there for a year. Yeah. So
you used to live in Australia?
Yeah.
Your accent, you picked up the accent.
A little bit, tiny bit.
Yeah, it just a little bit in the Canadian accent because it's very similar. It's a very clean... No, Canadians' accent more polished, clean than Australian to me.
Very different in my eyes.
Yeah, because Australians can start speaking and you're like... Just like English. When the English start speaking, sometimes you're like, what are you? I don't even understand. But Canada,
I was born in England, so I do have that as a base.
Oh, you were born in England? Okay, what part?
I've kind of traveled a bit. I was born in Norwich, so that's where...
Norwich, okay. Nice.
In the east.
Oh, you just... Yeah. All over, man. Very nice. Very nice. Now, that's, like I said, that was a dope hot list. That was a very, very dope hot list. Let's answer the biggest question everyone wants to know. How much money do you actually need to travel, in your opinion? And I mean, different countries different, but Just an average.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we did have. That might give you a clue. For the 2023 year trip for both of us, and it wasn't enough, but we had 60,000 Canadian dollars. So what's that in USD? 40, 45, something like that?
Something like that. So something, yeah.
And that was supposed to last a year, but in reality, it lasted 10 months. So
hold on. Where were we all? Where were you guys at that time?
We basically ran out of money, so we only done 10 months out of the 12. We're kind of hanging on for 2 months, but we did.
Where were you traveling to, like at that point in time?
Yeah, so Europe to Middle East to Asia, South Asia to East Asia, back to North America, back to Europe. So quite a few flights in there, unfortunately.
I was just about, and in your opinion, would you say that you'd hope that should be able to last way longer?
No, I'll tell you what actually happened. I underestimated the cost after COVID. I think my mind was still pre-COVID costs, and I think that was a big mistake. So I think that was the biggest lesson I learned. Yeah.
Okay. So that would be something to consider, that now we kind of have to change the way we think, because we're kind of thinking of things how it used to be versus how it really is right now. And one of the things is that everything has really, really, really changed.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. Because 65,000 US should be a lot of money to be able to move around. But the flights, COVID costs and fluctuations and stuff could have a really big impact.
Yeah, in US dollars, it's slightly cheaper. It's 45,000 US dollars, 60,000 Canadian. The Canadian dollar isn't that strong compared to US or the euro or the pound. So I think we just kind of underestimated that. And also the prices of stuff. Like, for example, hostels in Europe are well expensive now. It's almost cheaper to stay in hotels. It's crazy.
Because people in Europe just travel in hostels more than hotels. It's very weird. I found that out, and I had to be like, what?
And that drives up the cost, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know already, cost and demand. That's how it goes.
Yep.
So if an empty piece of paper, more people running towards the empty piece of paper, it's gonna cost more than money. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Very, very crazy. So the hostel end up that. Wow. That is amazing. So, I mean, of course, guys, that's an average. That's just a guide to make sure that you could have an average as to, sometimes you think you could budget and things supposed to be a certain way. Things change, and change is the most common thing and the thing you should actually accept the most, because things are going to change. You just have to try to adapt to it and come up with a backup plan and just some way, somehow create an online store that's making automated money.
Yes.
So that you could do what you got to do.
Yeah.
$1 a day is better than no dollars a day.
Absolutely. Could not agree more.
Yeah. I really, really appreciate that information on there, because a lot of people ask that question to me, even as a travel agent and traveling and moving from country to country. And I really do not have an answer for that. I've traveled with no money. I've traveled with some money, and boy, it just really doesn't matter. You just have to try to survive and try and get some way to make money as quick as possible. Because it's like everything else. You could be a multi-millionaire, and if you don't continue making money, your money is going to finish. Life keeps on going. So you got to figure out a way. So, I mean, guys, whether you're a budget traveler or a mid-range traveler or a luxury traveler, it just all depends on what type of travel you're going on. That's how you'd actually set your budget. You know what kind of a lifestyle you want. In our opinion, traveling is about being grounded and learning how to survive and navigating and all that stuff. So some people just love to keep it at budget because we learn. we learn survival skills. Come back home like you wouldn't believe the story. So, I mean, James, we're very, very grateful for your information, man. As a final reminder, guys, I just want to let you all know that this episode was brought to you by Island Vacation Travel Agency. If you're serious about traveling smarter, whether it's solo travel or group travel or business, we handle the planning so that you could focus on the experience, right? James, last question. If someone's listening, right, and they're thinking about taking their first trip to anywhere, I guess, what would you tell them?
I would say start small in terms of the culture difference. And if you're American, for example, and you want to travel abroad, but you're really nervous, how about just booking a flight to Ireland? This is my example. Because the island culture, in terms of the island, next to UK, it's going to be fairly similar, but it is different. It's going to be Europe. It's going to be a different way of doing things. There's no one there. And also you'll get to, I guess, learn a bit of history about maybe where you're from. So I think go somewhere that's culturally similar, but also outside of the continent you're in. Start there, work your way outwards in terms of the culture difference, right? So just gradually get more braver as you go. I think that's the more sensible way. Personally, I would just jump straight into somewhere completely random, but I know a lot of people will be really nervous about that. So my advice is start small and work your way out, I think.
That's right. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Take action, guys. Start small, start somewhere familiar. Because, of course, familiarity builds confidence. And then from you have confidence, you turn into a titan. Time to go fly, time to go everywhere. Now you get brave, right? So that's how it goes. You start familiar. Just familiarize yourself with something, and then you could actually... And, of course, there are other people that like to just jump into the deep end. I also encourage that as well, because sometimes that creates a whole different human being, and that's just what they need for them to be able to grow, right? Yeah. And I'll give you all some words of wisdom. Us Caribbean people, we do this all the time, every day. That's why they keep on wanting to send us back to our islands. First world country people, you have no excuse. You have access to everything.
It's true. Yeah.
Right? A little island person come from a little community and just decide, like, as you were just speaking, I just realized that like, they've never even been on a plane before. Their first time on a plane. And they're moving to a whole brand new country for a brand new life.
Yeah.
With no money and trying to figure it out from scratch.
Good luck. Yeah.
Watch me. The thought of that alone, as I just thought about it, I was just like, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Big time.
Like, who does that? Just leave your country, not familiar with anything. All I know, you speak English, I speak English, and I'm coming over. Wow, that's amazing, eh? That's amazing. Yeah. But as we say, if we could do that, everybody could do it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You could navigate a big country. You could navigate all this technology and everything. That means going into the natural world. It's just a matter of figuring it out and being polite to people and communicating. And that's pretty much it.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it. James, it was an absolute pleasure. I want to thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your kindness, man. And thank you for shedding that light on us. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy your conversation and your wisdom as well.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate coming on. Thanks for the chance. And I hope the listeners
I'm going to make sure I stay in contact with you as well, because might have to join you on some trips around, man, and meet you somewhere around.
Open invite.
Open invite. Or you could always come here and come and meet us in Florida. Come and check us out. Come and see what we got going on there. We got some pretty big gators and stuff out here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we got down here. Gators and stuff.
We've got bears, so I can ride you with that.
Oh, yeah, you do have bears.
Yeah, no problem.
It's all right, guys. Now, if you found this episode valuable, and I'm pretty sure you did, right? Share with someone you know who needs it. And I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people, because there are a lot of young people, older people, professionals, solo. They're all trying to look for their freedom and escape, and they're trying to find out how to go about it. If you've heard your friend talk about, hey, I want to get out of here, send them the episode, share it with them. Don't forget to check out James's podcast. James, this is your chance. Let them know what you got going on, what you have, anything you're selling. Let the people know.
Okay, I host the Winging It Travel podcast. That's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the apps. I also have a travel vlog called Roaming with Hammo. That's a slightly different type of content, video content, basically. And I'm part of a network called the Voyescape Network, which is a collection of travel podcasts. So you can head to voyescape.com for more travel content there as well. And yeah, if you want to get in contact in terms of a podcast production or anything of the like, you can head to wingingitproductions.com. I've got some services and pricing on there. So that's my stuff.
Awesome. That's what we're talking about, guys. So as you heard, James is working out there and he's trying to fund the dream. We got to support our people that's trying to go for their dreams, guys, because it gives you an example of how to do it. Wink, wink. Right? So go check out the podcast. Go check out his blog. And of course, I don't believe there's anything that's too much, well, except for when it comes to people in one location and it turns into a city. But when it comes to information, I think we should have as much as possible. So as you know, I'm an audiovisual technician. He's a podcast technician as well, guys. If you need services in Canada, anywhere around the world, he travels as well quite a bit. He travels.
Yeah.
So guys, reach out to him. Winging It Podcast, tune in. We're going to tune in as well. We're going to subscribe. And I would love for you to send all that information to me because I will plug it to the bottom of the podcast in the description as well. And I will support you, brother. I appreciate your time. Mr. Hammond, thank you so much for your time and your patience today, man. You are awesome. Keep rocking.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. And I'll stay in contact with you. And you have
Same
a
here.
very, very good one.
You too. Thanks for tuning in to the Winging It Travel podcast episode today. I hope you got some great content there and are inspired to go and travel. If you want help to go and travel, there are links on wingingittravelpodcast.com to help you book some travel. These are affiliate links, and anything that you book is at no extra cost to yourself. But for me, I get a tiny, tiny commission with that cost. Also on this website is other great materials, such as blogs, episodes, and information about myself and my travels. Head to wingingittravelpodcast.com for more information. Also, if you're looking for help to start a podcast, head to wingingitproductions.com. This has all of my professional projects within podcasting and YouTube, and you can see all the different types of content that I'm creating. And finally, don't forget to leave that review and 5 stars on your podcast app, or if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you at the next episode.